living it up, 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 living it up. It's the Mallrats wedding day. Living it up, let's party.
So, welcome to Series 2, Episode 48 of Conversations on Eagle Mountain, a podcast about the tribe. I'm your host, Lance, and joining the podcast panel today is Liz.
Hello.
Sabine.
Hi.
Maggie.
Hi.
And a very warm welcome to our guest for today, Octavia.
Hi. I just want to quickly say that I'm really grateful you guys are having me on. I've been listening to it for a while. I really liked the podcast.
Oh, we're so happy to have you.
Yeah.
It took us a while to get here, but
With episode notes done by Matt and myself. So, Series 2, Episode 48, the screenplay was done by Joe Boyle. It was directed by Julian McSweeney. And the episode synopsis were read out by Octavia.
It's the day of the Mallrats' double wedding, but with Ryan worried that Celine will get cold feet and Jack misplacing Tai San's ring, will everything go to plan? Meanwhile, Trudy leaves Ebony defenseless as the chosen strike.
Okay, Octavia, I want to ask you a few questions so we can all get to know you.
Cool.
So, let's get right into it. What was your favorite season?
I don't know if this counts. I really like The New Tomorrow. I know I know that that's not a well-respected opinion, but it was the first one I actually watched because I was 12 when it came out. And it aired in Australia really prominently. So
oh wow.
it was my first exposure to the tribe. And I was like, this is amazing. I love this idea of kids surviving on their own. And like, honestly, rewatching it, I'm like, this is like baby's first Game of Thrones going on right now. And then I got into the original series, which didn't air as consistently in Australia. It was like they would show an episode, like a season 2 episode, and then immediately after like a season 4 episode. It was very disjointed, so it was harder to get into that series for me. And like when it comes to the actual main series, it's hard to, because the seasons, like really the season, I really like the end of season 2 and the beginning of season 3, but then where season 3 ends up, it kind of doesn't end very well. So I can't say that I really like season 3, and I don't like the beginning of season 2. So it's hard for me to say this is the season of the tribe I like, because realistically it's the end of season 2 and the beginning of season 3.
So basically the chosen storyline.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
That's fair.
I agree with that. I fully agree with that.
It's really cool that, The New Tomorrow was your introduction. And I totally understand the whole inconsistency living here in America. I was an adult. I had to be very dedicated to watching the tribe to be able to see it in order because it was all over the place.
That's why I was like always so confused about which season what things happened in, because like for me I was like, oh yeah, season 4 is the techno season, so obviously that's where they barcoded everyone, right? But no.
I didn't like season 4 or 5, so I don't really know what happens in either.
Yeah, no.
Consistently.
They're definitely the lower quality seasons. I would say that season 4 is a lower quality than season 5 personally, but
They had nowhere to go but up.
rock bottom.
Okay, cool. Okay, so who are your favorite characters then?
Trudy and Alice. I've always loved Trudy. I've always been a huge fan of Antonia Preble. She's incredible. I don't know whether you guys have ever watched Outrageous Fortune, but she's amazing in it.
Of course.
Yeah. Yep.
Like she is my celebrity crush. So
Yeah, she's great. She's so good.
and she does a really good job with her role in this show, even though I don't know what she's trying to do with her accent, because it's not the way she talks. I don't know what kind of direction these kids were given voice wise, because some of them obviously sound like they're from New Zealand and others sound like they're trying not to sound like they're from New Zealand, but I don't.
I love when the accents slip. I just love it.
For that universal appeal.
Yeah.
And then you got the ones that are just like, I don't care, I'm going to talk how I talk. Like Lex,
And I can't remember who plays Gel, but like she's obviously not trying.
No. Her accent's pretty though. Okay, it's got her voice has to go with the way she looks, right?
I like how they deliberately make siblings have different accents.
Yeah.
Okay, let's flip that around. Who are your least favorite characters?
Ray and Jay. I'm just not. I am not a fan of the Ray Thomas self inserts. They are terrible.
Let's get some salad for that bird.
Touche. That's fair. That's completely fair. I
That
love
felt like
Ray.
fingers
I get
slammed in the car door.
Yes, I thought
Oh,
it was beautiful.
You can't even argue with that. Yeah.
I could not have worded that better if I tried.
woo.
Good job.
I'm gonna be thinking about that one all week.
Yeah, that's a debate topic in itself. Okay.
Oh, I could debate that
Oh,
for hours.
me too. Me too.
Oh, we'll come back to that. Yeah. Do you have a favorite couple?
It's technically not like a canon couple, but Alice and Tai San. Yeah,
Mhm.
I think that they're like, it's to me it's very clear that Alice left her farm for Tai San to chase after Tai San. Like, there's no other reason that she had. She was like, I like this girl. I am following her, and that's yeah.
She's got a pretty face.
Fair interpretation.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, I can't speak from that experience. But I can speak from, for example, the Black experience, and knowing that when I would watch TV or read books, I was looking for something that reflected my personal experience and finding it any way I could. So I can totally see that. And even her crush on Lex and how similar Lex and Tai San and even the girl on the farm, as you pointed out, the similar looks and hairstyles and even something in their attitudes, why she would be attracted to them, why she would even end up falling for Ned, because he was the exact opposite of any of those three. So I think that's really cool interpretation and a fair one.
Also, she was from like a tribe previously that was literally just girls. So, like, all women.
All women.
Oh, and you know what? Ellie even says something that supports that. When Tai San comes to her and doesn't, want to tell her fully what's going on between her and Lex, but she feels bad because she knows that Alice is upset. Ellie goes, there's nothing you can do about it. She always does this. She always goes after guys who will hurt her as a defense mechanism, almost like she's going into it knowing it won't work out, which I thought was an interesting observation about
It's
Alice.
like she goes after these guys that she knows are unattainable. And that is like, honestly, it is sort of an experience of being queer and in the closet of like, well, but yeah, no, I was always like, I just had to like pick someone and it would be just like that seems like a safe option. There's just some guy. But yeah, no, it's like very much like you pick somebody that you know is unattainable, because a lot of the crushes that I had on guys in high school, they were gay guys. So I knew I wasn't getting them.
Okay, yeah, do you have a favorite storyline in the whole show?
The cult takeover, the Zoodists takeover, of the planning that went into that, and then the actual taking over part at the very beginning, and then like later on Trudy's redemption from that. I think that even though a lot of it was done off screen, which is frustrating, because that would have made for good television in my opinion. But I think that the way that she comes back and is like actually repenting for things, like she doesn't try to completely shake away any responsibility that she had, was good, because it would have been easy to do like, I was brainwashed, I didn't have control over myself angle, and they didn't do that.
And a least favorite storyline, and please don't say Amber's resurrection.
No.
Mine.
I really disliked the technos and the VR addiction, particularly the VR addiction when it came to Pride. I didn't think it made any sense. And also,
yes,
Pride's outfits towards the later seasons didn't make any sense either. I'm like, what are you wearing? This seems like so distant from like what you consider, eco. Like, what are you doing to make any sense for your character?
Yeah, he moved so far away from it. Yeah.
Oh, Pride, a man without a country.
if you think about it though, like it could make sense in the fact that it's showing what would happen, like the city's dangerous, right?
Yeah, that he's been corrupted. I just don't think that they did it. I don't think that they did it well enough to
Yes. No, like he definitely goes through a bout of hysteria, for a lack of a better term, where there's nothing about him that is pride any longer.
I think the concept of taking a character who's so anti-technology and all of that, and then making him addicted to it could be interesting. But the way they executed it was just cheesy, didn't work, didn't fit the character.
That's the thing as well. I think that the techno storyline altogether could have been interesting, like especially since like the concept was these are military kids. Of course, they have access to technology. That makes sense. The way they executed it though made no sense.
No sense. Here, have some chocolate bars.
Do you have a favorite tribe song?
Mine's very basic. It's like I think it's pronounced Abby Messiah. It's the end credits song. Yeah. I love that one.
Yeah.
Yo,
It's a good one.
it's a good one.
Good choice.
I sing it to myself sometimes in the car.
Oh yeah, well, I think we all do.
I remember the first time I heard that. I mean, I love The Dream Must Stay Alive. It's so poignant and bittersweet. It's very pretty and delicate. But when I first heard Abba Messiah, yes! Probably another reason I had such a hard time accepting season 4. It's like, where's my song? What is this? What the fuck is this?
I mean, it makes sense that season 5 would start out in a literal garbage dump. Just saying.
I've learned to accept tribe spirit since. It's a very pretty song, but
not the one.
Where's my Abba Messiah?
Yeah, I know you're into hairstyles and stuff. So, what's your favorite tribe style?
So I've always liked all of Trudy's styles, but the one that I really liked was the one where she had just come back from the ecos, because it was like very different from what she usually looked like, where she had her hair cut very short but like sort of spiked up, and it was almost pink, because previously she had like been completely purple all the way, and it was like this almost reddish pink color, and I'm like, this is a different person now. This is a good way to show transformation. I love it.
She rocked that look.
She did. It looked amazing. I also really liked when Tai San was like kind of in that supreme mother role.
Yeah.
Where her hair was like in that big sort of puffy thing up high.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. And like, the clothing is always really amazing. I just, hair is my thing. I focus on the hair. I look at the hair. That's the thing that, like, especially because they do such big, elaborate things to it a lot of the time. It really does sort of frame the character really well, depending on what they're doing with it. Sometimes they don't pull it off very well. I don't think that they ever do Celine's hair very well.
Oh,
Celine's lion-o hair will live in my nightmares.
It's so bad.
And her eyebrow.
They did her so
her hair.
dirty with the hair.
Why?
I honestly think they should have gone with a different color for Celine, because I don't think that red was her color.
I think it was because weren't she and Jack supposed to originally be siblings, and that's why they both had that bright red hair in the original concept, I believe. Like if you look at the original art, there's Jack and Celine are together, almost like she's leaning on his shoulder like she's his older sister. And I think I read somewhere that they were initially supposed to be siblings, which is why they gave them such similar hair, because it's like an artificial red, and yeah. But I don't know why they didn't change it once they dropped that.
Yeah, I think she would have looked good with like orange hair, but like they went.
She deserved different cuts, in my opinion.
They never did her styled it very well.
No.
I don't know why they struggled so much with her hair. Maybe they were always just trying to bring across that Celine is just in a chaotic headspace because her hair looks terrible all
the time. Yeah, not even. Yeah, it's weird.
Always.
It must have been intentional, because it is pretty much all the time. It's not well done.
And it's just her most of the time.
Like they have the occasional. Like everybody has the occasional bad hair day. Like I really hate Trudy's hair as Supreme Mother, but it fits what's going on with her really well.
I hate her after Supreme Mother hairstyle. So,
and nothing beats Chloe's Pokemon cone.
Yes. think those were my favorite.
If I think about it, with Celine's hairstyle, maybe the person who did that just agreed with us on Celine's character.
Yeah, they were just like, yeah, no, this character is a dud, so your hair's just going to be a dud.
She sucks, so her hair sucks.
Meant something though, because there's so much thought put into the writing of her character.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Celine may be a character you don't like and who does terrible things, but there was thought put into her being that way. So it's strange that her hair was such an afterthought.
She is one of the characters that does, like, she stays there the whole 5 seasons consistently. She never really takes long breaks away. So, like, the fact that they didn't ever really do anything different with her hair, despite the fact that they did something different, even, like, with Amber's hair, like, she occasionally had it down, or, like, when she first comes back in the series 3, it's like, for some reason, like, bleached all the way to the roots somehow.
Don't get me started.
And, like, doesn't have the regrowth that she previously had, and it is styled slightly differently. Like, her character has, like Amber's character is the only other character that has the most consistent hair through the whole series, and yet, like, Celine is the one whose hair just stays the same all of the time.
Her growth isn't as spectacular either. So
what growth?
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe that's the point.
So maybe it's on purpose,
Yeah. And analyzing the hair has always been my go-to as well. Like, the fact that Bray always has this connection with Ebony, because he has braids in his hair as well. Like, it's very apparent, and
I'm sure she did them for him.
Yeah.
Well, we know for a fact that Meryl's mother did, so
yeah,
that's really cool.
She did the braids for all of them, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just I feel like they do put a lot of thought into the hairstyles and what they mean for the character in the moment, and it's just
like Celine's hair at the wedding and before the wedding. We came back to this episode after the last one, and I was like, was her hair really that awful looking in the last episode? Like, I guess I didn't pay that much attention.
I thought that was kind of like suitable that her hair was done so haphazardly for her wedding. Like, she just didn't care.
She just didn't care. Yeah, exactly. Whereas Tai San looked magnificent.
To be fair, Tai San, the only way that she doesn't look great most of the time is, when she had those glasses in the early episodes. I don't know why they picked those for her.
And you didn't want the hipster douchebag look on Tai San?
And say, well, even after she was blown up, she looked great. It's fine. Maybe that's why I hate her. It's cool.
She didn't even have a sunburn.
No, not even. Still had her eyebrows. I'm calling a farce.
Is that your excuse for everything? It was destiny. It was meant to be. Anything except it was my fault?
That's exactly what I'm trying to say. If I live to 100, I'll still regret what this has done to you. What it's done to us.
Not half as much as I will. I'm not stupid, Tai San. I know Lex wasn't madly in love with me, but I also know I could have made him happy.
Lex and I are to be married today.
Would you believe me if I say I wish you all the luck in the world?
Thanks.
In order to get Ebony alone for the impending chosen attack, Trudy persuades Tai San to attempt a reconciliation with Alice and invite her to the wedding. Tai San agrees and goes to the hotel, where Alice is initially angry at her talk of destiny, insisting she could have given Lex a lifetime of happiness rather than the fling she thinks she's having with Tai San. Upon learning that they're getting married, she does wish Tai San luck, but doesn't want to be there to watch the event. So yeah, panel, a few questions about this. Do you think Trudy's plan to get Ebony alone was a good one? And what do you think about the conversation here between Alice and Tai San?
I want to know why Trudy thought it would be so easy. Like, why she thought that all she would have to do is go and talk to her one time and that Alice was going to come. It's better than what could be. They're speaking to each other, Alice isn't trying to rip her face off. It's better than to be expected, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was reasonably smart for Trudy to have asked Tai San. Like, What other character would she have asked to go reconcile this situation with Alice? It's not like Ellie would have done it. Like,
No.
and also Ellie would probably not have been successful because it's like Alice has always been best if you like confront her directly with a situation rather than try to go in a roundabout way.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And I think Trudy has seen how much, friendship and love there is between Alice and Tai San. She knows that Alice would basically do anything for Tai San. So yeah, I think it was a reasonable thing to think that Tai San going there and asking for forgiveness might work.
I think it's a good plan because once again, even though Trudy's motivations are diabolical, she's still giving great advice without meaning to, because this was the best way for Tai San and Alice to reconcile. This was the best way to go about these two making peace on this conflict. Again, as it's been said, who else should go to Alice and speak to her to make peace with Tai San? It needs to be Tai San. That's the friendship that's been fractured here. Mm-hmm. Tai San needs to go to her friend, and she's the one who should tell her friend that, yes, Lex and I are this serious. We're getting married. She's the one who ought to tell her that. Again, it just blows my mind that even though, that she doesn't really care about Tai San and Alice making peace, she's more focused on isolating Ebony. She's still giving great advice. It's like, it's just funny for me.
If only she could use her powers for good.
Right. I'm like, that's so amazing. Because that's the kind of advice you would give. Let's say if Tai San came to you and said, I want to make peace with Alice. I don't know how to go about it. Wouldn't you tell her? You need to go talk to your friend. You need to go tell her the truth. You need to apologize to her. You need to allow her to be upset at you. And that's exactly what she's doing. And I thought their conversation was beautiful. I think it speaks to the spirit of how true their friendship really was. That, again, Tai San doesn't go in with excuses. She goes in humble and apologetic and accepting blame for what she's done. And even in her anger, Alice doesn't get bitter or cruel. Because remember, from Alice's point of view, the person she knew, her friend, has never shown interest in a relationship. She's never spoken of love or being attracted to anybody. For all Alice knew, Tai San was asexual or aromantic. Mm-hmm. And then to find out this whole time she and Lex fell into each other, like that's very shocking and hurtful. And so for her to say, I could have given him a lifetime of happiness compared to whatever's going on between you two, it didn't even seem catty to me. It felt reasonable for Alice to feel that way, given what she knows about Tai San, who has never expressed any desire to have a relationship with anybody or be with anybody. And to be shocked, but so accepting when Tai San says, we're getting married.
Yeah.
Like, she could have been so much more bitter about that. And it's just so beautiful how honest she was about it. Like, would you believe me if I wished you the best, but I can't watch it. And for Tai San to be so accepting of that, I didn't think you'd want to, but I wanted you to hear it from me, and that kiss of love to her friend. I still love you. I don't expect or deserve forgiveness. I just hope someday I can get it from you, and it's so precious. I love them so much. I really do. And just like they said, this changes everything. We can't ever go back, and they don't. And that's so heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And so kudos to Trudy. I know you're being evil, but you still actually fixed something.
It is one of my favorite scenes of the show. I think it's like part of the reason why I wanted to come on this episode today is this scene between Alice and Tai San, because it's the gayest thing this show has ever done, in my opinion. It just seems like, it's one of those things where if you didn't realize that you were gay and you have this intimate friendship with another person of the same gender, and then like that friendship has a big blowing up period, and it's like, this is just the queer experience right here. And like, it undoubtedly, Alice left her farm for Tai San. She followed Tai San.
Yeah.
And if you go back to the farm girls, there is a character there that is fairly similar to Tai San in some ways, in sort of like her thought processes. So Alice has a type. And I personally believe that she chased after Tai San with that express interest, and then it didn't really pan out that way. Because, Tai San wasn't necessarily giving her all the vibes back. That's just my interpretation. Also, the kiss was very gay, in my opinion.
Jack and Dal are gayer, but I totally see where you're coming from.
I also just wanted to briefly touch on, this probably isn't as important to anyone else, but like the hair in the tribe, I feel like is either unintentional or somewhat intentional, framing for situations. So in the scene where Tai San and Alice are sort of having this argument, their hairstyles are very similar. And Alice has never really had a hairstyle like this before. And it's sort of showing in my interpretation that they are on sort of like this similar place where they both feel this like immense pain because of what's happened between them, and they're trying to reach this understanding, but they're just like not able to break through yet. And it's just,
I noticed that too. Their hair.
Yeah.
I was looking at that.
It's gorgeous. So.
I was like, wow, they very mirror each other. Even the accessories and the framing around their faces, the soft touches, the updo, and even the pieces sticking out. I was like, it just hit me how identical these hairdos are.
right? I honestly think throughout the tribe,
I really like it though.
Yeah, it's a great hairstyle. And Alice, like before this, has rarely worn her hair up like that. And I just think hair is like a big indicator of where a person is at in the series, like what their hair is doing. Like, is it like staying the same? Is it like looking really bad in the case of people like Trudy and Celine, because that usually indicates that they are in a really poor mental state.
Thank you for mentioning Celine's hair. Thank you.
Or like, is it changing every episode or every scene because this character like has an unstable sense of self? Like, I think the hair is really indicative.
Like the little girls.
Yeah. I think the hair is really indicative of like where somebody's mental headspace is at in the series.
There's a lot of thought put into wardrobe, makeup, and hair.
Yeah.
And they use it to tell a story. Just in season 1 alone, you can watch the alliances and connections between the characters just based on their facial markings, know, and later on they don't care as much, but you can follow what these characters are feeling or what they're going through. And their clothing makes sense for where they are, the life they're living, what they have access to, and their personalities. There was just a lot of care put into it. It's sad that fell off, but I appreciate the effort.
Me too.
Yeah.
As for Trudy thinking it would be easy for Tai San to just go and say sorry to Alice and she'd show up for the wedding, I think it's just she's distracted. She's got a one-track mind right now, and I don't think she cares much about the conflict between Tai San and Alice and Lex and all that jazz. Her focus is, I have to get Ebony alone,
and that's why I said desperation.
Yeah, just so that's like, get over there and convince her to come to your freaking wedding. I've got a job to do.
Ellie failed. Now you need to do this.
Go do this.
Yeah, because who else could she have sent?
It's the only thing that she could really draw on. Like, what else is going on? Alice is this one thing that's happening right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the only other way to lure Alice out like that is send someone over claiming something's wrong with Ellie.
Right.
I was just thinking, like, as you guys mentioned, like, even though this meeting between the two of them kind of is cordial, their friendship never ever recovers from this.
Nope.
No.
It's really sad, actually. I was thinking ahead, but like, yeah, they never ever connect again like this.
They were so close.
Alice really connect with anyone but Ned after this?
Yeah, I do feel we're a bit robbed. It's like, I did love this friendship, and it's like we don't get anything close like this again.
No.
I wonder if it's one of those things that also fell by the wayside in season 3. I mean, they spent the energy to build up Alice and Ebony, but that never goes anywhere in season 3. But it feels like it was meant to, and they just dropped it because they got caught up in another dramatic thing they want to focus on. And I feel like maybe Tai San and Alice also fell victim to that, because there's no reason they couldn't have, being stuck in the mall together. But nobody wanted to focus on that again. So
Yeah.
The only thing I can say about the fact that we're here is that it is a reasonable consequence to what happened. Again, Lex and Tai San were not some just drama for drama's sake. Alice wasn't hurt just for drama's sake. There is an actual consequence to this. All of these friendships were fractured by their actions, and nothing will ever be the same again. It didn't just go back to normal, like, hey, that was fun. You know, like, we just put Alice through the ringer for fun, you know? Instead, it's like, this is what happens. And I do appreciate that, even though it's just heartbreaking, because those friendships were so beautiful. And they were Tai San and Lex at their best with another person until they found each other. And I still stand by Lex and Tai San being their best together, but it's still just, it sucks. And Alice never really gets the chance to shine with another person again.
Yeah.
It really does suck, because like Alice is largely responsible for why both Lex and Tai San are the best versions of themselves.
Yes.
Because like
Exactly.
she directly improved Lex like a whole lot, but she also like helped Tai San to open up and be more willing to accept other people's viewpoints and opinions into her own little bubble. And it's like, she doesn't get any of the credit.
No, that sucks. I feel so bad for her in that sense, because it's like, as you said, she makes Lex a better person. She makes him want to be a better person, you know, and she teaches Tai San how to freaking love, because I don't believe that Tai San was loved before Alice loved her. And only being loved by someone taught Tai San how to love in return. And that's why she goes through such an emotional upheaval, because she actually genuinely cares about people in a way she never did before Alice taught her what that meant. And yeah, she created these, she did all this work, and she reaped none of the benefits.
None of the rewards.
They fell in love with each other. Like, that sucks.
It's such a like karma thing to do, though. Like, you know, somebody who does work in that sort of thing is just like, you got to put in the effort and hope that something happens, and sometimes it just doesn't. Sometimes nothing happens for you.
Poor Alice.
For you guys.
And she gets Ned. She gets Ned as a consolation prize. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Consolation
That's who
prize.
they wanted to let her be close to? No, they did Alice dirty.
They did. I mean, I'm going to have a lot more to say about Ned and the nuance of Ned, but I will never feel he was right for Alice, or that dumping him on Alice was right for Alice.
Yeah. Like,
if they were going to go that route, they could have at least, like, you know, had him improve a little bit, maybe, somewhat.
Or maybe they could have just not killed him and left her devastated again.
Dude.
I mean, had they ensured he got all the farm equipment for Alice and stuff, and they actually could have built that life she wanted away from everything, sure, I would have been on board with that.
They could have let them sail into the sunset together with Tally and Andy, and I would have been like, all right, that's cool.
That's cute. Little bunch of redheads. It's a little redheaded family, you know?
Instead, they decided to leave a wake of
Weasleys.
3 devastated redheads just for drama.
Not only is he dead, he was a horrible crap person. Like, he kidnapped 2. Listen, we are way too far ahead here. All right. Let's bring it back.
Something that I did want to mention about the scene between Alice and Tai San, though, was the fact that even in this conversation where Tai San is like, yeah, I'm getting married to Lex, she still does not really seem to want to marry Lex at all. Like, she says, she feels disconnected from it, like it's happening to someone else. And I'm like, you shouldn't be getting married, Tai San.
I think that has less to do with Lex and more to do with the fact that she's just getting used to the idea of marriage.
Yeah.
As something that she could want. As she even said to him, she didn't believe in it, so she never thought about it. She never considered it for herself. And only now has she considered a version of marriage that she can get on board with. But it's still, that's a whole new idea. That's terrifying. You know?
She needs more time.
That's fair.
Like, even if you want to do it, it's still like, I'm about to do something I never believed in because I found a reason to believe in it, but it's still really weird. Like, I can't believe I'm doing it. It's, you know.
Okay, cool. Let's move on to that pool scene with Ebony.
Spike's wristband. Must have floated off the body. Who put the body in there? Something's going on. I can feel it. It's like the heat before a storm building up.
Well, I've been following you guys around all day. I haven't seen zilch.
But they're here! The Chosen are around us, I know it! And they're gonna strike soon.
So at the hotel, after finding Spike's wristband still in the pool, Ebony freaks out to Alice about the imminence of a Chosen attack and the fact that they still haven't uncovered any Chosen agents at the hotel. I mean, yeah, panel, how did you react to Ebony's sudden outburst here? And, like, what do you think of the fact that even Ebony wasn't able to shake free one of the Chosen agents?
Was it a sudden outburst?
I mean, I don't think it was necessarily sudden. No. There's been a buildup. You've seen the terror, right? She knows something's going on. And, I genuinely think that Ebony is backed into a corner right now, and she does not claw her way back out.
Ebony's used to winning, she's used to coming out on top, and Jaffa is her match. He's better than her at this game. That is terrifying. Ebony does not know how to cope with losing, with not being able to get the better of someone else. She's not used to her plans not following through, her plans within plans within plans. She always has a backup plan. She doesn't have one here. She's terrified. Like, I mean, no one deserves it more, but like, wow, like she's had to step up with Jaffa before. And even then she went in all cocky and then realized, holy crap, I can't take this guy, which is why she targeted Trudy, but she had a backup plan. She got out of it. She still got away from him and came out on top in that way. But this time, even her backup plan isn't working.
She's got nothing.
She does not know how to, she doesn't know how to cope with it. She's got nothing. She doesn't know what to do. She's looking to Alice for the answer. Fix this, save me. I'm terrified. I can't sleep. I'm not safe. And screaming this in front of anyone who could friggin' hear her, And I just this girl's unraveled as she should be. As anybody would be in her position. There's got to be somebody here, How have you not found him? Because I can't find him. I don't know what to do. I've got nothing.
God, and then just finding that cuff is just a last drop for her.
Yeah.
How did they get him in here?
Yeah, like that was it. Like I honestly felt a little bit bad for her. Simply because we do know what's coming. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like when I first watched it, it was like, nah, there's no way. Like in my head, I'm like, there's no way that Ebony's gonna die. You know what I mean? But like watching it this time around, I was able to be like, well, this sucks. She's got no clue. Poor girl.
Mm.
And originally, watching it the first time around, I would not have put it past them. I mean, if they can kill off Amber, why not Ebony?
True. That's true. But I guess I didn't think about that. I just did not. I'm like, there's no way Ebony's going to go.
You know what I really like about the scene is Alice says, she's looking at Ebony like, dude, I know you're convinced that the Chosen had something to do with this. And I believe you didn't do it. But I've been following your guys for days and days, and I have found no evidence that they're with the Chosen. But what blows my mind is that she already has found evidence. She just doesn't know that it's evidence because the Chosen are that good. She just doesn't know. They're talking to tons of people she doesn't know are Chosen agents. That is, wow.
Yeah.
Jaffa, high five. Like, I'm so impressed because she's following them around and doesn't even know she's literally seeing them talk to Chosen spies. You know what I mean? And it just has no idea like that. She sees them talking to Wolf, but she doesn't know that Wolf is a Chosen spy. So she thinks nothing of it. So how many other people has she seen them talking to and just not known? That's the evidence. Those are Chosen spies. You know what I mean? And I love that. I love that.
Yeah, Jelf is very smart. It's not surprising that his hubris ends up getting to him. It is interesting to see Ebony in sort of this sort of a vulnerable state though, because previously when we've seen the show try to let her be vulnerable, it's always been like these slow, usually feelings about prey. And I've never enjoyed that. Like this is I feel like a more realistic side of her vulnerability of like she has this need to have everything under control. And she can see it and feel it slipping out of her control. And she's desperately trying to like get it back into her control. And she can't. And she's even gone as far as to ask somebody else for help, which she would never do in any other situation. And that hasn't even worked. And it's just like, she can't, it's terrifying for her.
Every other time we've seen her vulnerable, not because of a guy, but because of her power, as you say, slipping through her fingers. She's been in denial about the fact that her power is slipping, like having control. This time she is not in denial. She is fully aware that she's lost control of the situation. So that makes it even more impactful, her emotional state. Because like if you go back to season 1, where it's very clear that the locals are falling apart and the virus is rampaging the city, and Bray's telling her, dude, you're freaking out. She's in complete denial. No, that's not what's happening. They worship me. They're not going to run off. I've got complete control. And here we see like she's not in Egypt. She's aware. I have no control and I'm losing it.
Because she knows she has a truly worthy opponent now.
Can you imagine Jaffa and that beautiful mullet haunting you around every corner?
Oh,
I'd love it. I'd love it.
No.
Yes.
I'm good, dude.
I want that. I could deal with that golden mane haunting me. I could.
No. You are crazy.
Just a little bit.
Yes, I am, but you already knew that.
To be I would feel equally as creeped out if those purple blue eyes that she's got. Or is it blue? She wears blue eyeshadow. If that was staring at me all the time too, like this season, I can't deal. She's just as creepy to me. Sorry, Sabine, as Jaffa is.
I told you, I have a shame-based crush on him.
That's all right. That's all right. I understand. You were older when you seen it. He was the older of the boys. It's fine.
I really don't mind the idea of my closet being cracked in the middle of the night. And I just get a hint of the robe and the golden mane.
I was going to say, I can do the robe, the golden mane.
You love the mullet. Don't deny it, Sabine.
I never got the vibes from Java, but like hearing you guys talk about him, I'm like, oh yeah, I can see how he got so many people on side.
I'm telling you.
And he runs a theater group and a choir. He's so dramatic and theatrical. Oh my gosh.
He is Count Olaf. That's it. I've decided. He's the Count Olaf.
I like that.
And the Chosen are his troop.
He is very good at disguises.
Yes.
I did briefly want to just mention I really hate the circlet that Ebony is wearing in the scene where, in the whole episode, really. It just looks so painful to me. I can't, it's just pushing
around her waist?
Right against her forehead.
Oh, the forehead one, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, this looks so painful. I can't look at this.
Imagine the market leaves.
Right.
I'm used to box braids, but yes, her hairdo looks like torture.
I just, most of my comments are probably going to be about the hair. I just am obsessed with the character's hairs.
If I was Ebony, I'd be so pissed that a dead body was found in my pool. You know how much she loves that pool. Okay.
Dude.
And she can't ever swim in it again. I could never. I don't care. A mountain of chlorine. I would never be able to get in that pool again, knowing that Spike's dead juice was just wafting around in it.
Dead juice. Oh.
She's pissed. Like, serious. She's pissed. Like, he
wasn't there very long. He wasn't
my favorite thing in the world. She's like, she's never getting in that water. She's never getting in that water again.
No, you're right.
He ruined that's our attraction to the hotel was the pool.
Mm-hmm.
It would traumatize me against going in pools ever again. Just in general. No pool ever.
Never could enjoy it again. Can't even enjoy the view anymore.
That's actually the only thing that took me out of that scene. Like she would have scrubbed that whole pool, so there's no way that Spike's choker would still be in there.
But... she got her men to do it, and they don't care.
Well, it's true. Her minions really don't care.
No.
They're not her minions anymore.
Heck, they might have thrown it back in later just to annoy her.
That's true. Yeah.
They might have been like, we'll just leave this here as a gift.
That makes a lot of sense that one of them may have thrown it back in there. Because honestly, it's been days since Spike was pulled out of there. How could she only be noticing it now?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that actually, I think, is a fair theory that they threw it in there just to mess with her.
Or maybe it was like a direct message from one of the chosen, just being like, yeah, you see, like, you know, even though you've taken the body out, we still have control over this area.
Oh yeah, Jeff is all about those mind games.
Yeah, he's a master at them. So, and come on, if you were ever one of the guys Ebony was pushing around, wouldn't you want to mess with her?
Yeah, Ebony's totally the boss that you kidnap and throw in the trunk of your car.
Yeah. Yeah, if you can annoy her in little ways like this, sure.
That's why I know Trudy is very much enjoying all of this.
Of course she is.
She is reveling in the fact that Ebony is probably going crazy.
She has to imagine most of it, though. She doesn't get to directly see it. And that's where
I
I would be
know.
like, if I was Trudy, I would just be like going out spying on Ebony and watching her suffer.
That would have been so enjoyable.
But she does her duty and stays in the mall, and that's how you really know that the chosen have got her.
Oh yeah.
But that glint of evil in her eyes when she says, yeah, let's take her out.
It's so bad.
I mean, Jaffa's smiling perfectly for that, but the look in Trudy's eyes is just bloody perfect.
It's also like that scene where they make that decision is like, you know, a good sort of contrast to earlier when the chosen had originally kidnapped Trudy and Ebony, and Trudy like had this like basically immediately made the choice to be like, yeah, no, Ebony, I'm not going to have them kill you. Like, yeah, sure, they did the long, you know, conversation first, but there's no way that I truly believe that Trudy was going to say, yeah, kill her. She was just trying to figure out a way to like have it make sense that she would let her go.
Oh yeah, it's Trudy before the chosen got their hands on her would never hurt anybody. Would never do anything to cause someone else harm, you know. But once they get into your head and change your perception on the world, yeah, she's learned to find joy. But I also think the smile had way more to do with this is one step closer to getting back with my daughter.
Yeah,
like this plan, our plan is moving forward, and as soon as this is all over, I get to be with Brady. At the end of the day, I think it had more to do with that. Like, finally, we're getting somewhere, you know?
Right. Like, she's focusing on the steps of the plan. Okay, this step is complete, not what that step necessarily is.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I just can't just put it past me that, besides me, you know, that it's one step closer to getting her daughter back, but there has to be a certain level of satisfaction.
Well, sure.
In it being Ebony.
Yeah, okay. Is this your inner Trudy?
Yeah.
That is excited about this.
Wait. Hold on to these thoughts, because I want to come back to this at the last because I got a lot to go into there. So hold on to these thoughts. We'll come back to this bit.
Just don't joke about it.
Joke about it? It's all I can do not to cry about it. If I was to name one person in this place most likely to pull a stunt like this, no prizes for kissing her.
Right now, I am a scientist. I lose things. I forget birthdays. And I am more comfortable with numbers than words. And I know I get up your nose sometimes, but I need your help this time. Can you imagine what Lex is going to do if he finds out I can't find that stupid ring?
As Lex's best man, Jack, is given a wedding ring by Tai San, which was her mother's, he promptly loses it, roping in Dao to help him find it. This culminates in a huge blow-up in which Dao expresses his frustration at always being drawn into Jack's messes, and Jack finally acknowledges that he's difficult, but he needs Dao, and the ring is eventually found, of course, on Jack's finger. Yeah, Panda, I mean, I thought this was quite a funny scene. What do you think about Jack and Dao here, and how it kind of mirrors the repairing of their friendship that we see as well with Ryan and Lex?
I think it depends on whether or not you think this is a repairing of a friendship.
I do not.
No.
I do not think it's a repairing.
I think it's nice to see, and it's nice to see an interaction between them, you know. But no, this definitely, I think it's actually it's a build up to the final blow, you know.
For me, this with Jack and Dal and Ryan and Lex is just confirmation to me that the showrunners believe that this is the natural state of friendships between males.
Yeah.
Like, this is what they just think guys are like. That they treat each other like garbage, but everything's cool. They can be toxic to each other, but everything's cool. This is all it confirms to me, is that they just think that's how guys are with each other. I think it's not great messaging. I don't think this is a repairing of any friendship, but it's still a very amusing scene.
Mm-hmm.
Very fun. I do like Jack acknowledging that, yes, sorry, Dal, I am the worst, but I need you, you know? And I think it says something. Jack would not have friends if it wasn't because Ellie and Dal have chosen to put up with him.
Yes.
They're the
I was
ones
going to say
putting in the
Ellie has
effort.
a lot to do with it.
Yeah, like Ellie and Dal choose to put up with Jack. They see him as he is, as deficient a person as he is, and they both have decided on their own, you know what, I can tolerate that. They're the ones who put the effort into having a relationship with Jack. You know, I don't know. I feel like maybe Jack's acknowledging that in this moment, that, you know, I need you guys. Like, I need you. I know that I'm not easy. And I even get that the only reason I have you is because you're the one doing all the work, you know, but I don't think that equals repairing. It's acknowledging that he's a pain in the butt isn't the same as apologizing for the terrible things he's done to Dal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but at this point in time, it's as close to an apology as Jack's gonna get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely not a coincidence that you know, when Jack is first introduced into the series at the beginning, he is alone. He is completely alone.
Yeah.
Like there's nobody put up with him before the virus, probably. So why would anybody put up with him after?
Right.
But Dal was like, I will. I like you. I like the ginger.
It's so good though that Dal's finally standing up for himself within the friendship. Like he doesn't care anymore. Like he's gonna tell Jack, no, this is ridiculous. Like this is stupid. You're being dumb.
I think also he needed the separation. Dal was the one who had to separate himself from the toxicity of Jack. And I think maybe that helped Jack realize, like, oh, if I treat people like that, you know, my friend isn't going to be around, you know, because I pushed him away. And yet here he is, and he's helping me, you know, and I've messed up again. And yet he's helping me. He doesn't have to, but he is. But it's a sweet scene. The actors do a really good job selling it. So I think that's why it works.
I'm glad it's not a larger part of the episode though, because I'm not a huge fan of the trope of, oh, they lost the ring on the big day.
Yeah,
it's an annoying trope.
Oh, this ring.
It did seem fitting for Jack though. Of all people to lose something.
I still don't understand why Lex made Jack the best man, other than, you know, he couldn't make it Ryan, and apparently he needed a best man. Yeah, but this is Tribe World. He doesn't need a best man.
And he could have made Casey his best man. Come on.
It's just convention. It's just convention, you know. It's cute staging to have Dal and Jack be the best men. You know, that's all it is. It's just the staging of it all. It's so they could have this scene. That's it. It's for this scene.
We knew as soon as Jack was given the ring that he was going to lose it. We knew as soon as Tai San said what she said. All right, that's it. It's lost already.
Yeah.
I will say I don't like this trope when it doesn't match the character. Okay, when Zandra presents us with a necklace that has been in her family for years that she wants to wear at her wedding, I believe that Zandra's been carrying this through the end of the world because of her personality. Yes, Zandra has been carrying this thing waiting for her special day. This girl has special soap. Of course she has her grandmother's necklace for her wedding someday, even though the world has ended. I do not believe that Tai San has a ring from her mother that she's never mentioned ever. Tai San, who does not care for material things at all, would have a piece of jewelry that is suddenly so special for her wedding day.
Does she ever mention her parents before or after this?
Ever. She never mentions anybody. We still don't know where Tai San came from, okay?
The moon.
She was birthed into being. She was carved out of clay and made into being by Zeus. That is where Tai San came from.
She came from the forest people.
Okay, I hate it.
With those weird glasses.
I don't like it when they do it in season 4, when suddenly Celine has a pair of earrings that she's been wearing this whole time that are so special, just so that we can have the storyline where Pride sells them. So we have a metaphor for drug addiction. You know what I mean? I don't like when characters suddenly have this very special item that has been referenced or mentioned, and it doesn't match their personalities, but it's so special now just so that we can lose it and then recover it.
Honestly, for Tai San, it would have made more sense for it to be a feather that she found on the ground and she imbued with something special, like personally.
Yes, it would. It's a bag of magic beans, and
Yeah, her mother's ring doesn't make sense.
it just bugged me. I was just like, okay, it's just so we can have this scene between Del and Jack. Fortunately, the scene is good, so I'll let it slide, but
Also, weird for her to, like, obviously her family has sort of imbued her with this sense of, like, you know, or whoever she was with before, like, that marriage isn't that important. So, like, why is it suddenly important that it's, you know, something to do with her family? Like, I don't understand that connection.
yeah, they knew they had to have it, you know, because we did it before.
And then saying it never left her side. She never let it out of her.
Like, okay,
Come on.
sure, whatever.
So where was it when you were doing Lex, honey?
Where was it when she couldn't remember it?
Yeah.
Anytime she's not wearing it, she's swallowed it and just waiting for it to pass.
That's one way to ensure it's not leaving her side.
It's better than a seaweed cleanse. It's the minerals, you know what I'm saying?
Where's this conversation gone?
There's a reason she drinks all those green drinks, okay?
Oh my gosh. Again, the scene between Dal and Jack is so good that I'm going to let it slide that she suddenly has a ring that's that important, whatever. It's just comically perfect. The staging is great. Again, Ashwith and Michael are fantastic together. And I even just love the moment that he realizes the ring's on his finger. Because, you know, Michael's comedic timing is brilliant, you know, and everything about this thing is great. And just Dow wailing on him. I've been wanting to hit you all season.
Yep. They do have great chemistry together.
Yeah.
And, you know, the lovers make up and it's great. So I'm like, okay,
Quote unquote makeup.
I will let the stupid ring pass because these two were great together.
You hear about it happening? There's even songs written about it. Where the fella turns up and the girl doesn't. Or sometimes the other way around. That's just... She said no to start off with.
Look, women change their minds. They just do that.
I know, but... I keep wondering why she changed her mind.
So meanwhile, Ryan has been clearly nervous since morning as to whether Celine will actually go through with the ceremony, especially given everything that has happened. He also questions as to what truly made her change her mind. A cranky Lex tells him that he shouldn't let her dictate his life, although later, when he is more awake, the pair do wish each other luck. So yeah, comparing them to like Jack and Dal, what do you think about the exchanges here between Ryan and Lex? And more importantly, the fact that Ryan isn't stupid. He knows that something happened to make Celine agree to this, but he doesn't quite know what that is.
Poor Ryan.
It seems fitting for Lex in the way he responds, though. You know,
Lex is always handing out bad advice. Just like, nobody should ever listen to Lex about relationships. He's always just full of bad advice.
And I'm just going, oh, well, that's woman for you.
Why hasn't Ryan learned his lesson with asking Lex about these things?
Because Lex and Celine are all he has. They're the only forms of real connection he's ever truly had. Both of those relationships are toxic, but he doesn't know that yet, you know, because it's the only thing he clearly, this is what he was taught love is, you know, and Ryan still believes that if you put up with me, you must love me. That's what he thinks. I'm just lucky you put up with me. So I'm just grateful for that and doesn't expect more from that person.
Yeah, and who else was he going to go to for advice in this case? Bray? I mean, come on.
Yeah, I think he's still under the impression that Bray has a lot more interest in Celine than he does.
I still don't think he ever truly believed that. I think it was just easier to tell himself that than be mad at Celine. That's what I think personally.
That's valid.
Yeah, as he knows Bray, and even though Bray's a beautiful boy who all the girls are always throwing their knickers at, he knows Bray wouldn't do something to sabotage his own relationship. That's not the guy he knows. But it was just so much easier to unleash rage on Bray and to assume that Bray had some interest in ruining his relationship than to accept that Celine doesn't want him, you know, and prefers Bray to him. And it was easier to take that anger out on him than it was on Celine.
Yeah, but it still doesn't mean he would be the person to go to for Ryan.
Oh, no, I'm not saying he would. No, it makes sense that he goes to Lex, even though, yeah, it's like, by now, when has Lex ever given you good advice, Ryan? Ever. I think it's more that Lex is willing to give him advice. He's willing to indulge him, cares enough to tell him anything that Ryan clings to, you know?
Oh, boy's got such low self-esteem.
Yeah. It's just a comfort that Lex pays attention to him. It means in his mind that he must care about me, you know, because he indulges me at all. This is so depressing because it's anybody who's making some kind of decision like this is going to be nervous, is going to be anxious, is going to be asking themselves questions. But there's a difference between, you know, the nervousness of, am I ready to embark on this new journey, to make this big change in my life, and the difference between doubting your actual partner, like doubting that they even want you and want to be with you. Ryan knew from the moment she came back that he was not confident in what she was saying to him. Sure, it's what he wanted to hear, and he jumped for joy at that. But somewhere his instincts were telling him, you can't trust this, which is why he was like, let's get married immediately so you cannot change your mind and leave me hanging again. And even though she agreed to do that, he's still left with this sense. I mean, you got to remember, she never explained to him why she didn't want this future with him. Again, she's not a villain for not wanting that future with Ryan. But from Ryan's point of view, she never even explained to him why she didn't want to get married. She did explain why she didn't want children, but she never told him why she didn't want to get married. So the only way Ryan could interpret that was, it's me she doesn't want to marry. She didn't say, I don't want to get married because I'm not ready to get married, or marriage is just something I'm not into, or whatever. She just said, why can't we stay the way we are? And then she runs away. And before she runs away, she insinuates that she threw herself at another guy. And then she comes back and is saying that she's changed her mind. But even then, she doesn't give him a reason for why she changed her mind. She doesn't say, gee, being out on the street made me realize how much you mean to me, and, you know, the good in our relationship. No, just, I changed my mind. Bray was a fling, you know, or just, he was a phase. You know, like, no wonder he has no faith in this and is terrified and is questioning and is just like.
To be fair, if Celine had given him the real reason of, well, I'm pregnant and my baby needs a father, I don't think he would have been, like, he would have been happy that she was pregnant, but, like, I don't think that reasoning would have sit well with him either.
He still deserved to hear it. So
he did deserve to hear it, but, like,
he could make an actual decision. She came back and insinuated she wanted to get married.
I was going to say there was a reason that Celine specifically withheld that information, because she knew it would make it harder for Ryan to accept the yes. It was a manipulation tactic on her end.
Oh, yeah, we know that. What I'm saying is Ryan deserved to be able to make a decision. Ryan might have asked her to marry him anyway, but at least it would have been his choice with full knowledge. You know, he would have at least been like, oh, you came back because you're pregnant. That makes sense. What do we do now? I'd still like to marry you, maybe, or whatever, you know.
He probably would have.
And she could have said yes or no. You know, that's up to her. But, yeah.
Celine would have needed to be a whole different character for that to work with.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's like, it's no wonder he doesn't trust this and has all these questions. And it's so depressing. I hate the fact that Ryan has been manipulated into this, is allowing himself to be manipulated into it because he wants it so bad.
Yeah, it's pretty gross. I have so much I could say about it, as you know. I can't formulate my words right now. I just know that, yeah, he deserved for sure to know beforehand. And, you know, it goes back to a lot of it. Like, he would have married her because of the baby, not because he wanted to marry her. And it had to be about her. And she couldn't have that. That's what I feel.
Ryan deserves so much better, because they basically, like, he spent most of season 1, you know, pining after Zandra, and then, like, they basically gave him Celine as the consolation prize, I guess. And then that was a terrible relationship. And that's the only relationship he has. And that's not fair for him.
I still say he would have been better off with Alice.
Him and Alice should have comforted each other through this Chosen crap, right? When Celine ran off to join the Chosen, Alice should have been like, it's okay, Ryan, I have you.
Did they ever really interact?
Not much.
No.
when in the rebel bits.
We wanted them to, though.
It's a missed opportunity.
I do like the contrast between Ryan and Lex here.
Mm.
Now, Lex, he is confident today. He's not worried. I love the contrast of Lex in his first wedding. Well, his first two attempts, his attempt at wedding and then his real wedding, and this, because last time Lex didn't care. Last time Lex wasn't worried because he just wasn't invested anyway.
Mhm.
You know, he didn't care about Zandra's feelings on it. It was just, this is what Zandra wants and this is how I'm going to get laid, so I'm doing it, whatever, you know. But this time Lex is confident because he's confident in Tai San's love for him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because when Tai San said, I don't want to get married, she gave him a reason that Lex could understand. I don't believe in marriage. It's not that I don't love you or don't want to be with you. I just don't believe in that whole concept. And then when she changed her mind, she still gave a very valid reason as to why she was changing her mind.
Yeah.
I love you. I don't want to be with anyone else. And I can't stand the thought of you being with anyone else. Is that what marriage is? So Lex is confident today, you know, in that. He's not nervous. He's not anxious, you know. And of course, you have Ryan, who's on the complete other opposite side of that spectrum of not having those answers because his partner and he do not have that understanding or honesty between each other. And I also find Lex's advice kind of interesting. On one hand, it could seem like he just doesn't care. He just wants Ryan to shut up so he can get some sleep. But there is something he says that's a little cogent. You know, you don't let a woman dictate your life, or basically you don't let anyone dictate your life. And it's almost as if it's the nicest way he can tell Ryan that your entire life begins and ends with Celine and it needs to stop.
Yeah.
You know, like you're happy because Celine is happy. You're sad because Celine is upset. You know, you can't keep living like this. You're letting Celine dictate your every mood, your every thought, your every action, you know, because you tiptoe around her, trying to please her, trying to get this thing you want. And it's a little unfair to expect her to give it to you. And it also allows you to be manipulated by her, which is what's happening right now. So even if it's like Lex isn't trying to give advice, he's making a good point there in a way, you know?
I agree with that.
I do really like that. He does point out that just, you know, the way he says it, Celine's into it, right? He's like, he's just pointing out that he thinks Celine wants this wedding as much as Ryan does for the same reasons. And you can see the doubt on Ryan's face the moment he does.
It's like, you know, all Lex knows is, well, she said yes, right? Like, you know, because like he's just been through something similar and he's super confident about it because like, yeah, sure, Tai San said no at first, but then she changed her mind and said yes. And that's just something because, you know, women are overthinkers and they think about things and then they change their mind. That's what women do, right? That's Lex's whole thought pattern. So like, he's like, Celine must have had a similar journey happen. He's way too overconfident about his knowledge and interpretation of events.
He's too wrapped up in his own stuff to see what else is happening.
There's this tiny little detail in this scene that I only noticed it today, but did really like the fact that, you know, you have them waking up and Lex wakes up and his makeup is smushed. You know, it's not the clear lines it normally is.
Is it? I notice sometimes on Celine, her red there'll be like the red washed it away before. Like you can see, you know, so I didn't see the smudge part. I'll have to go back and look. That's kind of
it's the part on his neck where he has the blankets and then you see him move and you see the smudged makeup, and I don't know, it felt fitting that they had that in a scene where he's just waking up
instead of waking up perfect.
Yeah,
I don't think he brushes his hair this episode though. It bothered me. I wanted him to smooth it down a little bit more.
He can get away with anything.
Yeah,
but then he thinks he looks so good.
You
And I'm like,
it's Caleb Ross. He does.
He does look good. Yeah, like
that's the only reason he gets away with being such an awful person.
I'm not a Lex stan, but I will agree that he's a good looking man.
Caleb Ross is a face carved by angels. Okay. People forgive a lot of sins with a face like that.
That's fair.
That's a beautiful boy.
He's just a little.
I mean, yeah, speaking of Lex, alone in his room before the ceremony, he takes out Zandra's feather boa and asks her for luck. Just a quick little scene, but yeah, what did you make of that?
Oh,
It was
such a
so
great
sweet.
job with his grief journey.
I was so glad for it. Yes, so glad for it because she's not forgotten. You know, he
Yeah.
still hasn't forgotten about her, and I don't think he ever really will. And it's so nice to see that he's held on to a little bit of her.
I love that reveal. The
Yeah.
idea that
it was
he
so
has
good.
her feather boa in his closet, his wardrobe.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. It's so subtle. It's not even a showy moment.
Mm-mm.
You know, it's a quiet one by himself where we get to realize this whole time he's been holding on to this one thing that reminds him of her iconic boa. We heard him mention it before when, you know, Alice wore one, but he's never, you know, the idea that he's been keeping hers. It's just so lovely. And the way he smells it, holds
Yes.
it to his face.
Yeah.
You know, when he was telling Alice about the way she dressed, he did mention the feather boa, and he
Yeah,
kind of
you know?
cracked up. He kind of cracked up when he said it, and now I'm like, it's because he had it the whole time.
Yeah.
This thing that she did that nobody else did, that gave her such style in this world, and he just presses it to his face, and then
Probably still smells like.
wish me luck, Zan. You know,
Ah,
I love
I'm
it
getting
because Lex has gone on this journey to realize how precious Zandra was. He may not have loved her, but she was precious.
yes.
You know, and it's only after losing her that he can appreciate what she really was to him, you know, and how much she loved him. And she was his biggest cheerleader, and he had to lose all of that to realize how important she was. And she's precious now in his memory. He cherishes her in a way now that he never did when she was alive, which is a shame, but he had that journey, you know, and I love his whole grief journey. She was never forgotten for him, ever.
Never, not like Amber was.
She wasn't forgotten. Even
Amber?
the fact
Amber who?
that she was, even the fact that she was pregnant wasn't forgotten.
No, never. You know, that's nice.
It's like this relationship between Lex and Zandra is the only one that sort of feels like the writers really respect in a post-mortem way, where they will still reference it, but not in like, because there are moments later on, like, you know, after Danny's gone, where you know, somebody will bring her up to Bray, and Bray will just act like nobody said anything.
For real.
And it's like the writers have an inability to write grief, apparently, except for the case of Lex. Lex is the only character that apparently remembers people after they die. And it's like it's a really nice moment, because it's like it would be weirder if he didn't remember his first wife on his second wedding day. Especially like considering that they didn't have a messy divorce. She died.
Right.
So it's like he still cares for her. Like, I agree with Liz that Lex never really loved Zandra, but like they still cared about each other, and Zandra definitely loved Lex, and there was still a very solid relationship there that was lost. And it's nice that they have these moments like this, and they don't do it with any other character. And that's what's upsetting to me, is that it doesn't matter who else they lose, they never have moments like this again.
I mean, you know, in the beginning they kind of mentioned Amber, and she was kind of, you know, remembered a little bit in regards to the Danni and Bray situation.
By the kid.
Yeah, you know. But
not by Bray.
When did you think they found out that Amber would be coming back? Like, how far into this season? Because that's what if they just stopped mentioning her around then because they knew she was coming back?
I don't know, because I still feel like they had plans for Danni, you know. I really don't think they knew she was coming back until after they'd wrapped season 2. But that's just me personally, based on what I've seen. But it's more confirmation that Amber wasn't supposed to die, because again, Bray was not written a grief journey, so that's why the moments where he's allowed to grieve are squeezed in. They're pigeonholed into the script. Oh, we should make him grieve her a little bit. You know, we should remind the audience that he lost her. But it's clear that Zandra was meant to die before they wrote season 2. You know, she was, and so Lex, his grief journey stayed completely intact from beginning to end.
Mhm.
And I think you made a great point, Octavia. I do think Lex is one of the only characters who is allowed a proper grief journey more than the couple episodes after a character has died. Because even after losing Tai San, he spends plenty of time in season 4 grieving his wife, not knowing where she is, wanting to get her back in a way that other characters aren't given. And I think he would have continued to grieve Siva, you know, if we'd gotten to season 6, you know. I don't know if it's just because he's that kind of character who's great for pathos. You know, he is great for that kind of thing. And Caleb plays it well. But yeah, none of the other characters are given that long range of time to work through those emotions of losing a person, you know, before they're even when he's engaging in other relationships, it never feels like Zandra was just a dropped plot thread for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
And I don't think any of the other characters
just a
get the
shame.
chance, even though there are opportunities for characters to have that. I don't feel like any other character has ever been written to have it properly.
And it's a shame because, like, through writing the fact that Lex is grieving, it shows that the writers can do it. They just, for some reason, choose not to.
I mean, take Amber in season 4. She's supposed to be grieving Bray's disappearance, but I never truly feel that she is. I'm not blaming Beth. It's not Beth's fault, but it's clearly just not written in there for her to be going through the process of losing a person who's missing, when at the same time, Lex, who is engaging in another sexual relationship, I still feel he's grieving Tai San. Like, where is she?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, they can't give that to Amber, and it's not like Beth couldn't play that. You know what I mean? Like, she could totally do it, but they just didn't give it to her. She just has a couple moments where she mentions Bray. I'm still waiting for Bray. I'm still looking for Bray, or whatever, you know? And I
mean, Trudy showed more emotion at Bray being gone than Amber did. Come on.
Yeah, I think they needed to focus on Amber being a mom, the new baby, you know what I mean?
Not really.
Did they do that,
She
though?
was sick. That whole thing, you know.
They just don't handle grief well, apart from Lex. It is true. Like, even Bray doesn't even mourn his brother really that much. He gets like 2 or 3 scenes, and then it's like, okay.
Yeah, I keep forgetting that they are brothers, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, you forget that. Oh, this very important main evil character we had. Oh, okay, yeah. And he was your brother. It's gone.
Honestly, the fact that they're brothers is mentioned more in The New Tomorrow than it is through the series.
Oh no, no spoilers, but oh no, that's horrible.
In most cases, except for Zandra and Lex, and when a character dies, you're going to get 2 to 3 heavy episodes of the characters dealing with it, and then that'll pretty much be it. So kudos to you, Zandra. Kudos.
Good job.
To you, Amy Morrison, for getting one of the best grief stories ever.
Yeah.
And kudos, Caleb, for making it work. Because, man, just him grieving her and going through the whole process of having to lose this person he didn't appreciate while she was alive just elevated her character.
Yeah.
And I mean, I already loved Zandra, you know, but I loved her even more because the care of how they handled this story. And this was the perfect button. He hit the end.
She still annoys me.
I know.
But it's okay because I still love this. Like, I can be annoyed by a character but still enjoy a storyline. So
About them being dead.
I don't enjoy that she's dead. I'm not happy that, you know, they killed this 14-year-old pregnant girl, right? Like, I'm not okay with that. Like, I don't like that. I just
It was just a baby.
she just annoyed me as a character. Like,
I loved it. I wanted more Zandra.
that's fine.
I think the fact that Zandra was annoying was it was a core part of her character because she was a child, and they were like, she was a child that was like a very vain child trying to figure out how to grow up in this world where she had no role models anymore. And she was doing it well. Like, she was probably the best character that exemplified the fact that she was still a child trying to be an adult. Because all the rest of them just like immediately went into the I'm a little child or I'm a grown adult now mode. She was the only one that was still
straddling
figuring
the
it
fence.
out.
Yeah.
No, it's a beautiful moment, and I just love that reveal that he's had her boa the whole time.
The whole time.
Oh my gosh.
It's really well framed as well, the way that, like, you know, it happens, and like it's just him alone in this intimate moment, and
It's good to see that he's capable of those sorts of things. Everybody looks at Lex and, like, and over the last like half of this season, we've seen this growth with him with Tai San, and I love the acknowledgement with the Zandra thing, I guess.
Yeah.
He's still a turd.
I'm not supposed to be in love with this man. He's a rapist.
I know, that's why I felt like I needed to
Stop
say
it.
he's still a turd. I had to throw that out there. He's still a turd and he still does turd things.
Damn it, Lex. Stop it. Oh, you do it too well. You do it too well.
His character is like written the best out of everyone in the series, because he is able to he's human. He is written as a human. Like, he does terrible things. You still care about what happens to him, though, because he brings across the emotion of somebody
and he
really
does get
going
character
through it.
growth, and he does, whereas he does get set, still holds on to the growth.
At least until the end of season 3.
Don't talk about season 4 and season 5.
I'm sorry, I just had to point it out because you're saying character growth, and I'm like, Caleb had some of the best character growth for 3 seasons.
I know, and then he went down the.
Yeah,
I know. Sorry for my language.
He just stayed in stasis.
He became what he was supposed to be, and that's Lex.
He just became a caricature after that. But for 3 seasons, this guy, Lex, he did a lot of growing, man. He came a long way. And it's beautiful, beautiful to watch.
For these 3 seasons, he would grow, and then he would fall back, and then he would grow some more. But now, I guess you're right. You're right.
Maybe it should have just ended after 3 seasons. Just saying.
Maybe.
Controversial take.
Don't get me started.
Not too much.
Not on this panel, it ain't.
We are gathered here today to witness the joining and matrimony of our friends, Lex to Tai San, Ryan to Celine. They are here to show their love and trust in one another, and to take before us all the vows which will make them one.
So Trudy, in full Supreme Mother getup, conducts the ceremony as the 2 couples make it through the vows.
Good night.
And even Alice has a change of heart, and she does turn up. So yeah, what did you make of the double wedding? What did you make of the various tribe styles and the smile singing?
I love all the looks. I love the way that everybody, I like the touch with the flowers being different, and Tai San, and her bridesmaids having different colors.
I was surprised that Trudy let Patsy wear what she did, to be perfectly honest.
I'm not.
Wasn't Trudy the one who picked it out for her?
Like,
Yeah, but I think Trudy always knew she wouldn't be there the whole time,
But still, I feel like I don't know. Trudy's Trudy right now. She doesn't. I mean, how do I put this nicely?
Trudy's the one who put that outfit together for Patsy.
Yeah.
Right, but she knew that she was going to go run around and get dirty and covered in dirt and be running around the city, and she knew that. So I get that, but I don't know. Patsy, how much of this brainwashing have we missed? Because that was real easy. Like, she went in and then she just did it. She just did this lie. Like,
hold on. We'll come back. We'll come to that in a minute.
Patsy.
We'll come back.
Okay, I'm sorry. This is the one. Yeah. The wedding was good.
Is good. The suspense of is Celine coming or not was great, because you can see how anxious Ryan is, and you can see him thinking, she's not coming. I'm going to be standing here alone while Lex and Tai San are here together already. And
yeah, but then even the relief on his face when she does show up, that's sad too.
It is. And well, I love Trudy's evil cloak because, seems fitting.
Oh yeah.
It felt so fitting, yet no one wonders where she's getting all these new clothes,
Nobody ever questions where the clothes come from.
Doesn't she make the clothes? Wait. They have that whole wardrobe. Remember? It's in that old room. I think it's in Zandra's old room. I don't know.
Yeah, but still.
Stealing Zandra's clothes.
That everybody shares. That's what Trudy said.
Clothing isn't a hot commodity in this world. It's easy to come by. It's not valuable.
She goes shopping. She goes shopping every time she leaves, okay? She comes back with a new cloak.
I love everything about this wedding. I think it is probably the best in all 5 seasons. And it's also the most most thought was put into the storytelling of this wedding. There's so much going on here. Okay, and you have the contrast of the two couples. You have a couple that's actually bonded by honesty and actual love. You have another couple that's built on deceit and no trust. I even love the fact that the couple that's lying, it's not true, are wearing pure colors. I think it's very interesting. I love the fact that where Tai San and Lex are dressed in their own individual styles to what pleases them, and it still manages to complement them. Lex is dressed like Lex, like, okay, pirate Lex,
Yeah, I love it so much.
He's dressed in what would make him comfortable and what he feels attractive in. Tai San she's dressed in ways that she finds evocative. But Ryan is echoing whatever Celine has chosen. Celine has chosen white, which is interesting that she's chosen something that is reminiscent of Zandra's wedding outfit, including the pants. I thought that was a really nice touch. Her feathers, as if she's an angel, but she's really a devil in disguise. And even the tattoo of the flower with the thorns on her chest, I love that. Every rose has its thorn. I love the fact that Ryan is echoing her look. He's not dressed like Ryan. He's dressed to complement Celine. No. Even at the fact he's got feathers on his face. He is just there to be her accessory. This is her show. I love all of that. I love the fact that the bride, who is the most honest in her love, has a genuine moment of hesitation because, this is scary. She needs a second before she can say yes. But then look at her genuine smile after. She doesn't regret it for a second. And then look how easily Celine is able to lie in her vows. She doesn't love this man, but she doesn't hesitate for a second to say, I do. Yeah, absolutely. 100%. I'm here for it. I love that.
I hate it.
What's the most disturbing is that if people think about this double wedding, they think of Ryan and Celine as this wholesome couple.
Yeah.
That's what they look like.
Visually, that's what they look like. They are the traditional appearance of what a wedding would be, whereas Tai San and Lex are like, the people that just look like they stand next. They look like, the best man and the bridesmaid.
I love the fact that there's this underlying tension because Trudy is clearly doing something. I love that Trudy is leaning into the theatrics. She's really taken lessons from Jaffa. She is loving, commanding him.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I've never seen her this authoritative.
She is chewing the scenery.
She had plenty of practice as Supreme Mother.
I do love Alice showing up, I thought that was really beautiful. I love the emotions on Vanessa Stacy's face.
Oh my God! Thank you for mentioning that. Thank you for mentioning that. They are so genuine, and
the conflict of emotions because she loves these two people, but they hurt her, and this is painful. But she genuinely wants the best for them. You know what I mean? Vanessa, you're a queen. I love it. You killed it. She says so much without saying a word, just her face. And it's so gorgeous. It's so beautiful. There's just so much.
I'm so glad they didn't forget about it. They didn't just have her show up. They actually showed us
the reaction.
Those little those micro reactions that she's having, or the not even micro. They're there. Like
and even a reaction when Tai San hesitates.
And then there was that moment when Trudy asked whether anybody objected, and like the whole wedding party turned around to look, and it's like, is anybody gonna? Like there was a moment of tension. It's like, is Alice gonna say something? Is somebody gonna say something?
I even love the cute little callback of Dal and Jack is standing in the wrong place. And they just had this conversation, and Dal has to move him to the right place. Like, they're over here, dummy. I already told you this. It's precious. And I just think it's perfect, like written beautifully. It's filmed beautifully. The pauses, like you said, the tension,
Chloe noticing Patsy was gone.
She was the bridesmaid. Nobody else noticed she was gone.
Yeah.
And I think Trudy was counting on that. She made sure that Patsy was dressed for the wedding and was there at the beginning and knew no one would notice that she had disappeared during it. Yep. I loved Porky in his little basket. Oh, you are so precious. I love Cloudy and the flowers in her little her ears.
It was very cute.
I loved everybody's outfits. except for Danni and her denim hillbilly lingerie thing.
I love that outfit. I cannot believe you
that
don't
so
like
much.
it. It's my favorite.
I'm
Oh!
sorry, Maggie. Just give her a pole and clear heels. I hate that dress.
Maybe that's why. Maybe it's because I'm like, yeah, she could slip in that. It's fine.
God, Danni was in the episode, to be perfectly honest. She's like not in there.
We see her, I don't know, walk by at some point, dressed.
She doesn't say anything this episode.
They kept it focused. I
Yes.
like that. There was no unnecessary character interaction.
Right.
They kept it in the pocket,
It's focused.
you know. So yeah, I love this wedding. I think it's fantastic.
The one thing I like about Danni, you guys hate.
So sorry, sweetheart.
Go
with the
figure.
denim or go with the lace. Pick one.
Never.
To be fair, I also really dislike Bray's shirt. Like he wears it this whole season.
The corset?
I don't understand it.
It's so
Yeah.
bad.
It's like a fishnet shirt. What is happening?
But I'm gonna tell you, I would rather this shirt than next season shirt. Okay,
And this fancy shirt.
that white shirt, no, it ain't doing it.
It keeps his figure looking good. He likes that shirt.
Oh, man.
I love the smile being there. I love the fact that there's only a slight mention of whether they should be in case he's like, it's not a big deal. And guess what? He was right. I love that. Nobody cares. The entertainment tried to beat up one of the brides the other day.
Not a single person.
Why does KC owe? Why did they owe KC a favor now? Like
Because he
what?
got them a gig.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
That's it.
they're still the talent.
What are they getting paid for? What are
That's
they
right.
getting paid
They're
in?
getting paid in exposure, guys. All right.
Oh, okay. Because yeah, I was pretty confused by that too.
Probably some wedding cake.
Like, wait, why does KC get a favor from this? Is
Yeah,
he not
I'm like,
paid?
Yeah, are they not doing a favor for
They
him?
never follow up, but they're going. The deal is that they'll owe him a favor.
Yeah.
That's it. But we never get to see because the Chosen invade.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it is pretty odd though that Celine just stands there looking up at them the whole time and she's just like, yeah, this is cool.
because she's only focused on trapping Ryan. That's all she cares about right now.
Oh, that's her one track. Right. Gotcha.
I even love the fact that once the Jackals kicked out the Smile, they no longer care about what happened to Billy Boy.
Zero cares.
Ever. Our job was to care. We don't have the job anymore. We've moved on.
It really is just a bunch of jobs for them.
Yeah. They're all eager, and I love the song and everything.
Oh, the song is fantastic. I love a good acapella.
Going right back to the original, it's on the original soundtrack. I mean, that one has a lot more, obviously, drums and all that stuff, but yeah, it's the same song. I'm like, I just love the fact that the Smile sings two of the songs off the soundtrack. I just think it's great.
That brings us to our final thoughts of the episode.
They're dead. They're all dead.
Who?
Everybody. Me and Alice are the only ones left. It was horrible.
The Chosen?
Yes.
Alice. Where's Alice?
Hiding. Down by the docks. She said to fetch you.
So pleased to see Alice, Trudy quickly sends Patsy off to Ebony, where she claims that the Chosen have attacked and killed all of the Morats apart from herself and Alice, who is supposedly hiding out at the docks. And when she arrives there, Ebony's ambushed by the Guardian and a Chosen vehicle forces her off the end of the pier, over which we still hear the Smile singing. Right, so panel, I've got a lot to talk about here. Okay, so we talk about Patsy first of all. So this goes beyond just ferreting messages and crazy toys. She puts on a performance and tells Ebony that all her family are dead, basically. And then takes Ebony to a point where she knows that she's going to be taken off the board, whether that's death or whether you believe it's exile, whether you believe it's just capture. She knows that Ebony's going to be taken out at this point.
Yeah.
And for me, it raises a lot of questions. Like, at what point do we start to question? Do we start to like the person's own culpability? Like, I know she's indoctrinated, but at what point do we start to give blame to herself?
That's what I'm wondering, because
in defense of Patsy, in defense of Patsy, I just want to make it clear, it is confirmed she did not know what was going to happen to Ebony.
What did she think was going to happen? Though?
I don't know. I'm just
I
saying that
think
she was not supposed to know what was going to happen to Ebony, and in fact I'm just saying she wasn't supposed to know. She had no idea what was going to happen to Ebony, that Ebony was going to be hurt. Now, I'm not saying Patsy's smart, because she's not, but she didn't know that Ebony was going to be harmed.
I think she seriously assumed that they would just, take her away.
Maybe she didn't think that.
And go so far, I guess.
That's all I'm going to say.
She just assumed they would take her somewhere else.
I still don't like it.
Lock her up, throw away the key.
I think it's awful. I think and the fact that Trudy was willing to use a child in that way, But
it is possible that Patsy didn't even think about Ebony at all. She was just like, well, Trudy's told me to go here, say this to Ebony, bring Ebony to the docks, and then go home.
Yeah.
And that was her only line of thinking.
Yeah, because she was told to go straight home.
Because, like Liz said, she's not very smart.
Right. But still, that is a really big story.
But yeah, remember, it's not just passing a message. She performed this. She
put on this
she
show.
cried. She went all out. Like,
was dirty.
Ooh.
Come on,
But that is what cults do. Cults, the way they indoctrinate you is one of those things. Is the rule of yes. Okay, and even when think about it, when Trudy tells her, "I need you to go someplace," and Patsy goes, "Oh, where and why? I want to see the wedding." Look at the way Trudy reacts to her. Haven't you learned by now not to question me, to just do as you're told? That has clearly been part of Patsy's indoctrination. She immediately complies and does what she's been told without questioning or thinking about it. She's still an idiot, but I'm just saying that this is what cults do. They start small. They get you to say yes to small, innocent things, and then they start upping the ante. They get you in the habit of simply doing as they say, and it starts innocently until before you know it, you're doing things and you're not thinking about them because you've been conditioned not to think about what they have ordered you to do until you start seeing the consequences, which, of course, is going to happen to Patsy. It's still messed up that this is what Trudy's doing to a child and how easily she's able to do it. But again, it is a child. And it also, gives us some more foresight to how Trudy herself was indoctrinated. We saw Jaffa use the same method with Trudy. With the innocence of offering her water. Just get her to accept the water. Trudy wasn't going to accept the water. I don't trust you. I don't like you. I'm questioning this whole situation. You get them to accept and say yes to small things. And then before you know it, what has he got her doing? Saying that she wants power and chaos in front of all these people, even though she doesn't want it. You know what I mean? That's how they do it. And they condition you not to think about what you're doing, and that's what we've been seeing Trudy doing with Patsy from the moment she started conditioning this kid.
Yeah, that's fair. But still.
I agree, but there's a line that then crosses over into the individual's own responsibility.
I agree.
Trudy, as much as we love her, she has blood on her hands. Even those people we don't like, she's got blood on her hands.
100%.
Yeah, gets murky.
And okay. Watching that scene today of Ebony jumping off the docks, okay? How are we really supposed to believe that took Ebony out? Like, the van didn't touch her; she just kind of dove headfirst into the into the water.
We know that she knows how to swim,
right? Like
as
she
well.
loves
Like she can
pool,
swim,
right? Like, they couldn't have done something better. They couldn't have had the vehicle actually hit her. I
think it's insinuated that it was supposed to, but we know the tribe isn't the best at staging stunts.
It didn't.
Especially since they used the actual young actors for the stunts. Pretty messed up.
It is. It was very slow though, the way it happened. It's I didn't necessarily find it believable that Ebony couldn't have figured out a way to get out of the situation.
Run to the side
somehow.
Run to the side like a tornado. I don't know. You don't run away from it.
She's pretty fast.
She could have jumped on the hood of that thing.
Anything. That's why I'm I find they couldn't have done something better.
It could have been staged better, 100%.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did like that the smile singing was like overlaying
Yes.
this whole thing happening. I found that really nice.
I think it's interesting that Ebony her care for Alice is so strong that she doesn't even think about the logic of Alice surviving a massacre and sending Patsy.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's no
It makes no
way
sense.
Alice would do that. She would
No.
come herself. She would not send a child out on her own, unless she was injured.
But it also shows where Ebony's at, as far as her mindset goes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, I think that's really interesting that her only concern is to get to Alice, somebody she actually cares about.
She's
and
her
is
only ally.
concerned for,
And then thinking Alice is hiding in such a
and
way.
doesn't question it, and until she's like walking halfway there, and then you can see her pause, like, wait a second, why would Alice be hiding under a boat? Why would she send you? But by then it's too late. She turns around, Patsy's already gone, and there's a van showing up, and so I thought that was really cool. For Ebony's sake, nice little bit of character development there for her. I do think it's a cool state. As far as stunts in the show go,
it's almost enough.
This one's pretty good. It involves a vehicle and a young actress who has to fall into the water upside down, which again, these seem like small things, but these are big stunts. Even having someone fall on the ground on a set is considered a big stunt. You have to have padding and insurance, and so I'm gonna give it a plus. I'm like, that's a pretty impressive stunt for you guys.
Okay.
It possibly could have been edited to be a little bit
It
more.
could have.
That's what I'm saying. Like, they were going in slow motion. She could have ran faster than that vehicle was freaking moving. Like, she could have dove into the water, swam away. But they don't have guns. They can't shoot her. Are they going to swim after her? Doubt it. Like, what? This is Ebony. Come on. She deserved better.
I do think it's one of the first places where Jaffa falls flat in his way. I think he's a worthy opponent to dispatch Ebony. Of all the people who are going to, I was like, Jaffa, okay, I can accept him taking her out. But I did think, why this way? This doesn't ensure she's dead. It doesn't ensure anything. She just fell into the water. I'd be different if I'd seen her hit her head, you know what I mean, or something. Then I could be like, oh, she's unconscious when she hits the water. That could kill her, but she just fell, ass over tea kettle into the water. And as you guys pointed out, she's a swimmer. So
that's what I feel like it should have been. Like, or they wanted it to be. Like, she was hit by the car, she hit her head, and it fell off onto the water. That's what it kind of feels like it should have been. But it just didn't.
Maybe that's what it's supposed to be, but we didn't see any impact. And like I said, slow motion. I just feel
maybe they could have edited it better, and the editing team got it wrong.
Maybe. I like the concept, but the execution, not so much.
I do feel that having that specific van there is like an ominous sign, though.
Well, yeah, it's that. Yeah, that van sucks. We don't like
It's
that
that
van.
sense of impending doom getting closer and closer and closer.
Yeah, and I guess that makes sense.
We've come a long way to the Mallrats fighting Tribe Circus with pillows. Let's just
come
say
on.
that. But I agree. It's not staged quite well, but I am still going to give it points because when it comes to this, the stunts in the show, this one was a pretty impressive one, and it definitely needed to be edited better, definitely.
If you're judging it by the merits of the stunts in this show, it's done.
But yeah, I would have been like, how is that supposed to have killed her? Because I thought that was odd. Even the first time I saw it, I was like, she just fell in the water. Did she get hit by the van? Like,
she just turned around and jumped in. I'm telling you.
She did fall. She fell.
Okay.
She fell.
The way she fell, I think, is insinuating the van hit her, but
That's the
Right.
thing, yeah.
I guess.
Maybe it was filmed but taken off. But maybe they thought it was too. I don't know. It wouldn't go past the censors, so they took that bit out.
I suppose.
Because like Meryl did a great job at like looking like she was falling.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
and like something had kind of almost pushed her, but we didn't see that interaction really happen with the car or anything. So
Okay, that's fair.
I guess you have to. It's like with a lot of the show, you kind of have to just fill in the gaps.
Yeah, that's true. That is very true. Okay, still, come on.
It's insinuated that she was hit.
Okay, she was taken out. Got it.
Because we get her view of what the van looks like. It's very big and menacing and very close up. So I think that's what they were going for. It's better staging than we've seen in the past, but yeah, and there's probably a reason they could not actually show an impact of. I mean, that clearly goes out the window in season 5, but you see Ruby turn into a literal bumper.
She's supposed to be pregnant. What is with this?
Maybe it's just
that scene.
Yeah,
I just watched it recently, and I was like, oh my god,
she wrote that thing.
Ebony, oh my god, Ebony.
So yeah,
it was like the most violent thing that happened. Maybe that's why it got canceled. Because that was like the last episode.
It was.
Enough torturing of the pregnant teenage girls.
We're done.
The only other thing that I wanted to say is that it's really apparent how small Meryl is in this scene standing next to Patsy. She's just
tiny.
Patsy's taller than her. And like Ebony's looking up at Patsy, and it's like, oh my god, she's small.
There's a baby.
I think I still would have preferred something else from Jaffa though, as a way to dispatch Ebony. But I get it. They needed to they needed to have their cake and eat it too. They needed they needed him to do something where he could believe she was dead, but for her to have survived it.
Yeah.
It couldn't be too violent for the TV show. That, they had to be able to show it, but it couldn't be too violent to be in a kid's program. So I guess this was, a compromise, but I'd love to know what ideas they threw around the table before they had to settle on this.
It is better. It's better than all the off-screen disappearances that happened. Yeah. To be fair, like we get a lot of off-screen. Something happened. We don't know what, but it was something happened, and now we don't see the character ever again. Except maybe they come back. We're just gonna leave that open.
I guess it's similar to.
At least we did not see bubbles in the water after she fell in. There were no air bubbles.
I do think it's very similar to Lex and Bray crashing the dune buggy, and we're supposed to believe that killed them. Like, we're supposed to believe that they could have
Lex's hairstyle
in any way injured from that little soft rollover with their helmets on.
They were knocked
so
out.
I think it's similar to that. Like,
come on.
I'm like, you guys literally tipped over while you were standing still, but we're supposed to believe.
And then they bumped heads, and that,
But, it's insinuating that they got into a car accident and it killed them, and I think it's on par with that. And this one's actually, I think, personally, I think this one's better.
She swam under the dock.
I wasn't like necessarily comparing it to that scene in my head initially, but like that one.
Pretty good.
Yeah, I remember when I first saw that dune buggy rollover and laughing, and then it was meant to be a series.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was my reaction as well.
See, I can at least take this serious and get what they're insinuating happened and be like, all right, suspension of disbelief. I'm there. You got me. I'm with you. But that scene with Bray and Lex, I'm like, seriously, guys? That was the equivalent of falling out of your computer chair. Frankly, I think you do more damage falling out of your computer chair. I'm just saying.
See, as silly as the Dow death was, at least that was better. At least he fell.
He fell really
he
far
did.
away.
But yeah, it's a cool scene, and I love the tension, and Meryl acts the crap out of it.
Yeah.
I believe she's terrified for her life. I believe she's cornered. I love the way the van is filmed. I feel like the van should be its own character at this point. And again, I'm with Octavia. I love the singing over it, the contrast of this happy moment at the mall and this murder happening on the dogs. And I love my conflicting emotions of like, oh no, Ebony, and then also being like, Jaffa should be the one to take you out. It's
You had
not like
it
you
coming.
don't. You had it coming. It's not like you don't deserve this, but it's a great cliffhanger.
Yeah.
I'll give it that.
It
Because
is.
you're just like, oh my gosh, did they take Ebony out?
Did that really just happen?
They did it.
Yeah, the structure of this episode is really well done. Like, it's paced really well, and like all the scenes have purpose, and we've got the one bit of comic relief in the middle, but the rest of it is mainly like a very serious tone. It's good.
Yeah.
Top tier episode.
Okay, cool. That brings Series 2, Episode 48 to a close. Thank you very much to the panel and our guest, Octavia.
Yay.
And if you'd like to take part in a future episode of the podcast, please do send us a message on our Facebook page or on our website, thetribe.co.uk. So we'll see you next time for episode 49. Until then, bye.
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 Bye.